Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Check Me. Want to diagnose this Eagles and Commanders game, talk about the Super Bowl next week and some things to look for. First, I just want to say, definitely proud of my boys. We came out, we played football as expected. We understand that we smashed them in the beginning of the week, in week whatever 10 or 11. We should have beat them in the previous week, and then we handled them pretty easy in the playoff game. But just some things to highlight that I thought were big before I start talking about the ins and outs, X's and O's of the game. Jalen Hurts once again phenomenal, efficient on the ground through the air, 20 for 28, 246, one tub. I said a QBR of 72.3. I don't really care for QBR, but also a passer quarterback rating of 110. The true passer quarterback rating of 110 shows his efficiency as a passer as opposed to his ability to run as a holistic athlete or player. So I thought he had a phenomenal game through the air, and then on the ground, of course, 3 touchdowns. It was 10 for 16. 2 of those, I believe, came from the tush push, and the one he ran in pretty easy. Saquon, once again, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 15 for 118, almost 8 yards a carry. Will Shipley got some as well too, and then A.J. Brown came back with a vision. Of course, Marshawn Lattimore, Mr. Hamstrings, one of the most overrated cornerbacks in the league. A.J. Brown had his way with him as well as Smitty. So on our side, we did a really good job on the offensive side. Defensive side, once again, Dayton Daniels really wasn't a factor. It's really more about beating Cliff Kingsbury. Dayton Daniels, 29 for 48. You're not going to win too many games throwing the ball 48 times with any quarterback, or even a rookie quarterback. Typically, when you pass the ball a lot, it's out of desperation. Felt they should have got Ryan Robinson a little bit involved more, only 11 carries. Staying true to the run helps the defense stay honest. Jaden Daniels, as a quarterback, is a good way, but a lot of those come off of scrambles as opposed to, actually in the backfield running. Brian Robinson gets going by more carries, so I expect them to do a little bit more. Zach Ertz, once again, was just a dog, finding spots in the zone. Veteran tight end, thought he went out and played well. Terry McLaurin was on lockdown. One thing that Philadelphia Eagles did a lot more, because we have a good front four up front, was play a lot more umbrella, a lot more blanket coverage, where we really kept everything in front of us and slowed the game down. We only really got away with that a couple of times when we started playing man because we got desperate. I felt we should continue to play zone, but we got exploited there, and I'll talk more about that. Another big thing was Bobby Wagner. He's a great running. I think he's a good linebacker in between the hashes, but running sideline to sideline, chasing a Saquon Barkley, which you saw in the first play from scrimmage for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's not that guy anymore. And our defense, once again, Jalen Carr was a wrecking crew. Nolan Smith as well, the Georgia boys. Jordan Davis, Georgia boys played well up front. I didn't really care for our pass coverage with our secondary play, our secondary through our safeties, but I felt our receivers did a decent job containing Domino Brown and Terry McLaurin, who didn't do too much. But this game goes out to 3 people. First, Jeff Stoutland, our offensive coordinator, our offensive online coach, who we came in the game without Cam Jurgens. Larry Dickinson which he played at Alabama, had to play center. We brought in what's the guy's name? I forgot the guy's name. It's Tyler Steen to play left guard. Landon Dickinson was battling throughout the game. He got injured. We put Cam Sturgeons back in, and then we had Tyler Steen, which is a big gap because typically Landon Dickinson plays left guard, come in. But being able to run the ball consistently on the ground, we were 36 for 229 on the ground. Of course, we have more passing, but 36 for 229. 7 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, whoever's back there. I mean, Goddard was getting some. Smitty was getting some. They have Smitty. Oh, it was a pass, short pass with Smitty. But holistically, like, just the whole running game behind Jeff Stoutland, being able to have inside zone, outside toss, trap, zone counter, inside read. Like, I mean, we didn't really work the RPO as much this year, this game, but the dynamic run schemes, getting these guys prepared, understanding, gaps is something that Jeff Stoutland has done throughout the years, but most notably the past year with Saquon, almost breaking the record. to prepare our guys to get ready. I expect more of this with the Chiefs. So really hats off to Jeff Stoutland, our offensive line coach, who prepares and gets those guys ready. What you saw in the game was us laying a little bit more on our pass pro when guys start going down. But you saw us in pass pass protection, we were phenomenal. Jalen Hurts got sacked twice. I think a couple of those he could have thrown away. The one, Frankie Louvi, whatever his name is, jumped through the hole, and the other one was he was holding the ball on for too long. But other than that, like, the offensive line did an amazing job in pass protection as well as running the ball consistently throughout the game. So that's the first, Jeff Stoutland. Second thing is Vic Fangio. Washington is good mainly because of Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury's offensive mind. And you saw that no matter who was in quarterback, they played well for Washington. Mariota came in and had a higher quarterback rating and QBR than Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is just benefiting from this offense that Cliff Kingsbury has ran throughout the season, which was successful in Arizona. Kyler Murray put up crazy passing numbers in Arizona. But Vic Fangio, like, when we watch games, we have to look at the overarching matchup. The matchup was not Jaden Daniels versus the Eagles defense. The matchup was Vic Fangio versus Cliff Kingsbury. And if you beat Cliff Kingsbury, you can beat Jaden Daniels. You can beat Mariota. You can beat anybody who's in there. So Vic Fangio did really good. Took the youngest defense to the number one defense in the league and to the Super Bowl. No coach has ever done that. You have a defensive mind who has experience playing calls, who has experience understanding our offenses, what they're trying to do. You automatically have a leg up in this game. So Vic Fangio, hats off to him. Gave the offense opportunities. Turned the ball over 4 times. Jaden Daniels. The one interception which Quinmon Mitchell just made Terry McLaurin look like a little boy on it. He mossed him. But having a nose to the football, I expected it to be a shootout with us winning, easily. And the turnovers also helped. We did have a couple of stall-out drives I didn't like, but hey, look, it's okay. The last thing I want to give it to is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts played an amazing game, and if Jalen Hurts didn't have much, he could do more. He's capable of doing more. We look at. I had one Washington fan say that Jalen Hurts is overrated. The guy had 4 touchdowns against your team, 1 touchdown through the air and 3 on the ground. He was 20 for 28, a great completion percentage, 1 touchdown, and 110 quarterback rating. If that's our weakest link, I'm pretty comfortable. But he really commanded the offense. People don't understand that being a quarterback is not just about having a big arm or being flashy. Being a quarterback is being able to pass in the pocket and make plays with your mind as opposed to just your legs or your arm. So he did a lot of those things, and people don't understand. He checks to a lot of those runs. That's something he sees as a quarterback. As a quarterback, your job is to put your team in the best position to win and succeed. And that's what he did throughout the whole game, whether it was him running, him passing, or Saquon running. Also, too, he checked to Saquon's first run. He won't get credit for that, but he'll check, right? Because he saw something in defense. He saw a safety move over. Also, too, with Jalen Hurts, we see him evolve, and I said this at the beginning of the year. This was week 1 at play Green Bay. Him being a quarterback, being able to look at and also call his protections, because he's also checking his pass protection as well too. When he's doing this, it makes him a completely better player, quarterback, than just being able to throw and look flashy, which he threw the ball very, very well. So big nod to Jalen Hurts. He wins games. That's what he's doing. That's what he does. Not many quarterbacks can say they've been to the Super Bowl twice in 3 years. He's done it. Big hats off to the offensive line, Vic Fangio, and Jalen Hurts. So Saquon, of course, was Saquon on the ground. But yeah, being a quarterback that wins games with your mind. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, most of their checks when we said, "Oh, look, they're smart quarterbacks," they check the runs or they check the HB out, right? HB hook. right? Throwing the dump pass to the running back. That was one of the main checks they had. It wasn't some elaborate scheme where they were changing the whole dynamic of the offense. They were checking, and that's what you want as a quarterback to win games. So next week we got the Chiefs. Well, 2 weeks we got the Chiefs. One thing that we didn't have 2 years ago that we have this year is we have guys that can. Where this game was mainly about us being Cliff Kingsbury, the next game is going to be about our front four versus Spagnolia. Our front four creates dynamic pressure that gets the quarterback very, very well. Jalen Carter, once again, a dog. Nolan Smith, a dog. Jordan Davis, dog. Sweat, he didn't have the numbers, but dog. You know, you want hug pressure. When I say hug pressure, you got a 3-technique guy in Jalen Carter. You want to push the pocket up with the lineman. Interior pressure is always better than the side pressure, mainly because interior pressure doesn't allow the quarterback to step up in the pocket, but also if you can get him out of the quarterback pocket, the route concepts break down. It's a scramble drill, and he has to rely on provision. The best quarterbacks make plays without improvisation. They make plays with execution, and of not just of the play or what the offensive coordinator is doing, but execution of them from experience of them knowing the game. We'll play this. There's improvisation, there's execution, and there's experience. The flashy quarterbacks, they have improvisation. The quarterbacks that work in a system, they have execution. Right? Jaden Daniels. Here's our system. Execute our system well. If you do it well, look, Brock Purdy, right? They're the same people. And then you have experience. Guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger. These guys win games through experience. Now, of course, where Mahomes has a little bit of both, all three, right? And our defensive pressure, our front four is going to be something that and Zach Baum as well too, really neutralizing a guy who can run sideline, neutralizing Pacheco, whatever his name is going to be important. So I like our front four versus them. I think that we do have the matchup in the secondary that we want. If they play zone or man, I think we're very favorable. Smitty, AJ, we've seen these guys 2 years ago. We've seen this defense 2 years ago, so we have a lot to work with. Spags don't have to change things up immensely. And isn't it funny that the Cowboys, Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn are playing the NFC Championship game? We realize it wasn't them. Maybe it was like Dak, like I said, but I'm not going to go on that. But I think that the main matchup is going to be our front four and how much hug pressure we get, even pressure we get against Patrick Mahomes in that offense. So I'm going to do more analysis throughout the whole week, put out more content to talk a little bit more about X's and O's. But overall, great win, Philly, as expected. Our goal is not Washington Commanders. Our goal is Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens from then.